We are back with another Swindon Town record as we are looking at the closing stage of the season after what's been a very disappointing Easter bank holiday. I'm joined by regulars Adam, Ben, Christian, Kieran, Rich, and Warren. Obviously didn't get scared off after his debut performance on the whistle on Friday. He's back for his first sort of overview show as well. Much to talk about, so let's get straight into it. Warren, I will come to you first. 2-1 defeat today, and just results simply aren't good enough, are they?
No, I think the most word that I used on the last one, and I'll probably use it tonight, is frustrating, isn't it? So frustrating. I thought we've just been done by 2 set pieces, and it has killed us time and time again. And I know we will go in on the manager because there's a few things today I agree, but you watch the set pieces today and they just wanted the ball more in those set piece areas than we did. We didn't even get close to our men. And it was just, we played some good football today. I was saying we passed it sideways over the week for the Blackpool game, but today we actually moved it forward. The midfielders got on the ball, everything we wanted to happen. But we just got into that final third and it's like we freeze or we need a moment of magic for like pain from the goal. And we give it away. We give it away. And that's that.
Well, one of the things that Sheridan said post-match was that it was diabolical defending and the players weren't adhering to the instructions that were given. Apparently they spoke about Burton's approach, how they were going to be playing balls and don't give throw-ins away, don't give silly free kicks away. Is there and Rich, I'll ask you, is there an emphasis to a point on the players to take their own responsibility? I know when we were taught, or, when we were messaging during and after the game, Dom Thompson's name came up, Caddis's name came up a few times. There's a certain level of responsibility the players have to take, isn't it? It can't all be down to the manager and coaches.
Well, I think it's split either way. I think, I've said this time and time again over the last few weeks, last few games, that Dom Thompson, he's just not, I don't want to say that he's not good enough, but his performances have been so lackluster. I mean, it doesn't seem as if that he wants to put any effort in at all. Poor Caddis, I didn't think he had a bad game, but he was clearly getting tired at the end and where we needed some fresh legs on. And why did Sheridan not change it up? Why didn't he bring Garrick on? We've said it in the past. We've said, why he's a great impact player. He can come on, he can do the business and everything like that. But at the end of the day, although the players didn't put in the good performance, Sheridan, he's already singled out Conroy because he's not been good and putting out good performances. What about Dom Thompson? Why don't you drop him? Do you know what I mean? It's not good enough from anybody, either on the players' side of things or from the management's point of view. And I just think it's absolutely pathetic now. And if people think we're going to get out of this so easy, it ain't going to happen. I mean, it's hard. It's so hard being a Swindon fan at the moment, because at one point you think, it's all rosy. We get 2 wins on the bounce, and then we're back to square one again. So it's so frustrating.
Adam, picking up on one of the things that Rich said there, I know one of the big talking points was the seeming reluctance to make substitutions for a manager who's made 5 in one go, he's made 4 in one go. And then, we need a goal, and it was the 91st, 92nd minute when the subs finally happened?
Yeah, well, the thing is, we needed a goal from the 45th minute. Regardless of them going behind, we didn't want to draw that game. Well, they might have set up to draw the game, but we didn't want to draw the game. In my opinion, in the first half, we weren't good enough. We were far off it. I've had a few Twitter arguments already because I don't think we played very well at all in the first half. I think that Burton made us look better than we were. But yeah, and then the thing is it's easy, if you look at any other working environment, it's easy for the boss to say, well, my workers aren't working very well. But what do? You do something about those workers. he can't sit there and blame all the players for diabolical defending, not having their responsibilities, etc., but then not do anything until 2 minutes until the game is up. He's for me, he's just looking for a scapegoat now. He wants to put it all on the players and all this kind of stuff. If he had come out after the game and said, look, I made those substitutions too late, he might have earned a tiny, and I mean minuscule flea on rat type amount of respect. But he didn't. He literally, first thing, we made 2 defensive errors. Yeah, but we'd be making defensive errors all blinking season. That's not changed. Regardless, like even with the new back three that has done quite well over the last 4 games, they've still been making mistakes. So it's for me, it's just not. It's just a cop out to say, let's look at the players. Let's look at the players. Yes, they've got to take some responsibility, but at the end of the day, they're just employees at the end of the day. So, and who should take the rap? There's only if a player has 1 bad game, that's fair enough. If a player has 2 bad games, that's fair enough. If you're like Dominic Thompson and you've had 4 bad games in a row now, as Rich said, what's he still doing in the lineup? You know, but it's not just about Dominic Thompson. I think the only player for me that actually, 2 players actually, I'd probably say played okay today, in my opinion, were Missalou. I thought he was all right. And Caddis, I thought, considering he's played 180 minutes in 3 days or whatever, I think he did all right. And I'm saying all right, not good. But yeah, there's only so many times you can look at the players. He's stuck with the players. He's told us he can keep us up. He's told us that we're the best. We're capable of beating anybody. He's told us these facts. He's told us that we're the best team in that top set, in that bottom 7, and we're not proving it, either by playing or by the results.
Christian, one of the things you've said for weeks, if not months now, while we've been doing these, is about style of play. I don't know if you saw the tweet, I think it was yesterday, that Joe, one of the regulars who does these with us, put out. But there was a stat that we're now averaging the most long balls per game in League One, which is ridiculous when you think we do not support Pitman in any way, shape or form during the game.
No, it's stupid, isn't it? If you've got, going back to like the early 90s, if you've got a Dion Dublin and a Steve Claridge up there that are getting on the end of everything, you've got wingers that are there's nothing there, And what I kept seeing today watching the game was we've got one player up front that is Pitman, who's about 50 years old. But every time Burton had a throw-in or a corner, Pitman had to come back into our own box to defend those because he was the only one like big enough to do it. I just don't know why he doesn't shake it up and stick 2 up front. I really don't know what he's playing at.
Kieran, is there anything, I know we've stressed that, particularly the last few of these conversations we've had, that points are more important than performances now, but is there anything over the last 2 games, over the bank holiday weekend, that offers shoots of positivity and shoots of promise and shoots of encouragement?
I don't think there has been over these 2 games. I'll say like the Fleetwood and the Bristol Rovers games were very encouraging. It looked like we'd finally turned the point. The Fleetwood game, we sort of experimented a little bit, tried something new because it was sort of a bonus game if we won it, and we managed to get that result and then get the Bristol Rovers one, which again wasn't the best performance, but there's little bits of positivity such as Garrick when he came on and the sort of what he showed in that game, and that we managed to keep a clean sheet. We looked a lot more solid than we had done previously. But over these 2, apart from the first half an hour against Blackpool, maybe there's not a lot else positive to say with it. We're lacking leadership from the sidelines. I think that's where the players then lack it on the field. If you're not getting it from the side, I think a better manager gets more out of these players every day of the week. I don't think they're not the worst players in the world. They're not the best. They're enough to keep. There should be enough to keep us in the league. A better manager gets more out of it. Better leadership. But I think it's the last 2 games have been woeful. And it just seems to be 1 step forward, 2 steps back again. And I think something needs to change again. And say I don't know why he's not sticking to up top. Tyler Smith, get Tyler Smith on earlier. Get him doing something. He's quite a big lad. He just needs, because Pitman can't do it on his own up there.
The word I'm going to pick out from what you just said there is leadership. And Ben, I'll bring you in here because one of the interesting topics of conversation pre-match was yet another new captain. And since this debacle with Conroy, between being out of form, being injured, and as the rumour mill is turning quite quickly, they've basically just fallen out over something, so he's refusing to play. Why can we not just have a captain, a leader? Why do we have to have a different one every single game? They can't all be sort of rocking up in his office and saying, his leadership skills are crap, let me have a go at it, surely.
Well, I don't think Sheridan sees it as important. He just thinks that someone captain should be just someone that leads it out, and they should all lead by example. That's my only way of thinking at it. To be perfectly honest, Anthony Grant should be skipper. They should give him the armband and say, right, lead them, because, you know, he's the nearest we've got. He's the most vocal player we've got, and he's the player that aspires by example. It's a shambles.
Because he's only just come back into the team himself.
He has, but who else are we going to give to? Can't give it to Camp. He's just turned up. Could give it to Caddis, maybe. He's another one who's done it before under Paolo. But I just think Anthony Grant is the nearest to a natural leader and leader by example and do as I do. There is to it. You know, Matty Palmer, captain. Yeah, he doesn't strike as me as any sort of leadership qualities about him. He's all very timid and quiet, and you know,
he's on the same deal as
to him.
He's on the same deal as Taylor Curran. I'll tell you that bloke, stealing a living.
But that might be what Sheridan's looking for, is somebody who is timid, because they're not going to stand up to
they're not going to go back to Anthony.
Yeah, that is the role.
Anthony Grant's going to give him what form he probably already has done. That's why they fell out. Why wasn't in the squad for a long time? Various excuses, concussion, and that. Anthony Grant, for me, I'd probably sack Sheridan, get him in as manager. Like, I think he's got the passion. He's got the passion of the club. He leads on that pitch. He's one of the players. Like, I remember going back to the Exeter game last year in League Two when he just collapsed on the floor. He will put everything into that game on the pitch, and he does every game. And I think making the move back to centre back is good for him, and that's a great position as well for your captain, because I like captains are either goalkeepers or centre halves, because they can see most of the game. But I think Anthony Grant, as you say, is the closest we've got to that at the moment. And I think Sheridan won't do it because Anthony Grant's got too much of a mind.
But you know, you can, when a player is so important to our team, it can be detrimental if you give him extra responsibilities. That would be my one concern, that, you know, he's got the extra responsibility, but can he do that great job that he does every week of breaking down play, or at the moment, you know, performing in a centre half role? It's a risk, but he should be club captain. You know,
somebody just needs to fold the piece of paper and put his name on it 3 times into the hat, because that's clearly how he's picking his captain each week.
They're doing a tombola.
That's the one, yeah. But yeah, it's not very good, is it? It's just one of many things that are wrong. One of 100 there's little things that are wrong, and it all amounts to one thing, and that's Sheridan. But we all know that, and we all know it's not going to be changed. We had a little bit of light relief where we all thought possibly turned a corner. We took the wrong attitude to Blackpool, where it was a free hit. You might as well have a go, and we didn't, and then they just beat us and just second best all game. And today was just a waste. It was a waste. It was a great opportunity to get Burton back into the, pull them into the mire, really get clear. And now we've got Peterborough coming up, and I bet they can't wait. I bet they can't wait. Nathan Thompson's return, he'll have a banger as well.
You just see what he did against Sunderland
or something. He'll do something like that.
He literally, for Peterborough today against Sunderland, he set up their goal and he looked incredible. He's gonna be forward and he's gonna want it on Saturday. It's gonna be worrying.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's have a look at Peterborough, and as we do when we do these records, I'll give you all sort of a small portion of time to say what you're expecting to see, what you're hoping to see, and offer a score prediction. I'll go in the order that I've got you in the list here. So Kieran, let's come to you first. judging from what you're saying, you're not exactly full of optimism going into it.
No, I think I've seen someone on Twitter. They're going for a colonoscopy on Friday, and I'd much rather be going for that, to be honest. I think if I was them, I'd be asking them to rearrange it for Saturday so you don't have to watch it. But it'd be the type. But then again, it's going to be could be one of those games where we turn up and get something from it. And I think we've just got to go. We've got to go for it. But obviously, Peterborough hit Accrington 7 the other week, so we've got to be wary on that. But I think the worst result for us today for Peterborough as well was them not beating Sunderland. Because if they beat Sunderland, I think that would be a little bit less pressure off and there's more of a chance. But I think now the pressure's back on and they've played a game more than Sunderland, they need to come and get a result against us. We sort of could do with a result because obviously Northampton play Bristol Rovers. And where we've picked up absolutely nothing this weekend. But I think Peterborough are going to come and turn us over because we're not very good at home. We're not very good in general. And I don't think we're going to be up. They're going to be up for it more because they've got more riding on it. Although we've got everything riding on it staying up, they've got a chance to sort of cement in their places within the automatics and within the promotion chase. I wouldn't be surprised if we did get hit by 5-6-0 Saturday. And I think Nathan Thompson's going to score a goal against us as well. He looked great. He set up Peterborough's goal today, and he looks a lot better. I don't think he flops as much anymore, which is going to be a problem for us. But yeah, I think we'll lose, and I think it could be quite a heavy scoreline if we play like we did in the last two games.
Are you equally fearing the worst, Adam?
Not overly, just because it would be the Swindon thing to do to win this game. I mean, we beat Ipswich when they were on a good run and all of this. The only thing that, as Kieran's alluded to, not just a promotion chase for Peterborough, they've got a chance of winning the league still. So, and a good chance of winning the league. I think they're one game in hand of Hull and only 3 points behind. So it's different going into a game when that's on the line in comparison to having a relegation battle on the line. I think, I actually think we probably will win just because it's the Swindon thing to do. But realistically, it will be a scrappy last minute. Tom Broadbent, I know he can't play, but somebody up front who doesn't normally play up front will nick a goal in the last minute or something. I agree. I think Nathan Thompson will have an absolute blinder against us. I agree with that. But but I think on paper they should beat us 3 or 4-0. But it would just be one of those games where we would typically win. We'll probably beat Peterborough and Portsmouth and lose to Rochdale, AFC Wimbledon, and who's the other one that's down there with us. That would probably be what will happen this month now.
Warren, can you offer us any sort of encouragement at all?
Just like what Adam said, really, it would be the Swindon way of doing it, wouldn't it? It would be, but if he sees it as a free hit and goes, let's get someone up there alongside Pittman, let's have a go. You know what I mean? Peterborough have scored a lot of goals, but also looking in some games, they also concede a few as well. So I can't see any reason. But like every single game that we play at the minute, if we score first, we're in the game massively. And if we don't score first and we give Peterborough a head start and we concede an early goal, it could be, like Kieran said, it could be 5, it could be 6, because our heads will just go straight to the floor. They'll, like you say, lack of leaders out there. There'll be no one to pull us through. You just never know what Swindon's going to turn up. And at the moment, you couldn't even put a prediction on it. But if we go for it and have a go and put 2 at the top end of the pitch and give ourselves a chance, you never know what could happen. But I'm swaying more towards the fact that if we will lose. But
sorry to interrupt, but I've got a quick question. When was the last time Swindon Town had a go at someone at home?
Do you know what? You stole my thunder there because you were next on my list, Ben, and I was going to say, is it in the makeup, not necessarily of the squad, but of the coaching staff to tell the team to go and have a go?
There's not me. Since Richie's left, we've never gone, right, let's go at them, lads. Let's take the ball by the horns, and from the first minute, let's get at them and see if we can ruffle a few feathers and just see if we can just catch them on the hop. It's never happened at home. Watching Swindon at home, and I thought about this after watching the last game against Blackpool, watching Swindon at home, you know, you watch these international games and it's like Swindon, England versus Armenia. And what Armenia do is they put all 11 players in the their own box, let England have the ball in their own half. Just right, you can have it. You do as much as you want. Your job is to break us down, and we're just going to sit in and hoof it up to the to the big man up front, and then we're going to see if we can pick up bits and pieces or a set play. But we'll just sit here, and that's what we'll do against Peterborough. We're all saying, "Oh, if we will have a go," we're not going to have a go against Peterborough. We're just going to sit in, let them have the ball. They'll have about 70%, 75% possession. We'll just sit there and hope we nick a set play or something. And sooner or later, it might come in the 30th minute, might come in the 70th minute. Peterborough will score. They'll score. They'll get 2. They might get 3, and then it'll be all on to Rochdale. And that's pretty much how it's going to go.
Again, just to tie it back into what I said earlier, is there a point once they've crossed the white line, though, that the players take the responsibility? And yes, they've been told to set up, for example, because we're playing Peterborough, we've got 5 at the back. Fine, you can understand that. But is there a point where the players take responsibility to say, we don't want the relegation on our CV, so this is how we're setting up, but the wing backs have to get forward and put crosses in. Someone from midfield has to support the striker, and they make that decision on the pitch.
It comes from the manager. It comes from the manager. It has to be all week. This is what we're going to do. I need Thompson, Caddis. I need you further up the field. I need you pushing. I need a quick tempo. I need high press. As soon as they're on the ball, you need to be at the fullback so they don't settle. You need they make mistakes. That counter ground is bobbly and horrible, and it's not good for passing teams. So make it to our advantage. Make it uncomfortable. Blackpool, for the first 15 minutes the other day, were rubbish because they couldn't hack the bobbly pitch. They couldn't. And it took to them for 20 minutes just passing amongst themselves. So they got the feel of it, they got used to it, and then they took control of the game. Same thing might well happen with Posh as well, but we don't. And it's the manager where it comes from. We need to actually just wake up. We're going to get relegated if we don't do something. Because if we're not, we're going to sleepwalk to relegation.
Shit. And he doesn't give a shit because he's going in the summer. Well, he's going in the summer. He does not give a flying fuck, to be honest with you. And we talked about Dominic Thompson. We spoke about Dominic Thompson earlier. Dominic Thompson, the poor bloke, he ain't a bad player. He's come to Swindon from Brentford as an attacking fullback. Sheridan said, "Oh, you need to sit back there and just stop from scoring, stop from scoring." So he's making Thompson look like a fucking useless. What did he get Thompson in for? Because Thompson is not the sort of player that Sheridan wants at the club. So what's he got in there for?
Absolutely, I agree. That player that turned up that first game against Ipswich is a different player that we have got now.
Yeah,
that player against Ipswich was a player. He was quality.
Yeah, he probably didn't say 2 words to Sheridan before the game. That's why Sheridan has got him playing like a twat.
Yeah, but that shows what's so wrong with our club that the manager is sat there, and you'd all expect the manager to have a massive say on who we bring into the club. And whether we liked Sheridan coming in or we didn't, he surely should have had a say. But this is where the director of football comes into account. Paul Jewell, I know we've said he's pulled some rabbits out the hat and we've had some great players, but surely there must be no communication between the 3 of them, between Tower, Sheridan and Jewell, and they should all sit there and go, well, this is the style that Sheridan wants to play, which is fair enough. So we've got to find players that fit into that system. And obviously we're bringing in an attacking fullback who likes to get forward, and we're telling him, like you've all just said, oh, don't get forward now. Whereas in the game against Ipswich, I thought when he got forward, he was brilliant, didn't he? Assisted the goal and looked lively all game. But this just shows this comes from the root of the club, and this comes from inside, that we've got no communication or no care on how we're going to work this.
And how was a player how was somebody that was as good at a player as John Sheridan, which he was a fantastic player for Sheffield Wednesday, great player. How has he turned into such a shit, negative manager?
Yeah. He always used to say that he always used to like getting the ball on the ground, playing decent football. Surely that philosophy you'd bring on being a manager. I just do not understand.
Because I find it ironic because I think a couple of press conferences ago, he said he was asked about the hoofing the ball up top. And he's like, well, I don't play that. That's not my style of play anyway. I like to get the ball on the floor. But yeah, yesterday the stat comes out about saying that we're the highest hoofballing team in the league. So what does that tell you, John Sheridan? Like, seriously, I mean, that just paints the picture to me.
I don't.
If you're
to
the
me,
highest and the best hoofballing team in the league, at least make sure you're fucking good at corners and set pieces.
Rick, just to bring you into the conversation and give you your chance to obviously speak about the upcoming game against Peterborough. It's not an excuse because every team is in the same position. But when we're all here and we're talking and we're frustrated about style of play and whether it's down to the coaches or whether it's down to the players' responsibility, do you think it would be different if Swindon fans were there?
He wouldn't get away with it, would he?
Sheridan wouldn't be
I
here.
don't- no, I
He
don't-
would
I don't-
not
I
get
don't-
away with it. He would
I-
not get away with it.
I don't. Wow, it's tough because, you know, I mean,
I guess.
the thing is, so,
Sorry. Rick.
oh, go on,
I
Woody.
was going to say, I guess a way to reword that. Imagine the fans when he's made those 5 substitutions that game.
Oh, they'd
Yeah.
be fuming.
So it's-
Yeah, he would get booed out of that county ground, and there is absolutely no way. Yeah, as you say, okay, yeah, he wouldn't get away with it. Absolutely, Chris.
He wouldn't be here.
Say again.
He wouldn't be here. If there was
Wow.
fans in the stadium, power would have crumbled by now, and he would have gone, "Oh, you know what? I can't take this." And Sheridan would not be here if there was fans in the stadium.
Well,
Because we've all said all along, Power doesn't care. He just wants to sell up.
Well, he does want to sell up, absolutely, but I think he still wants to keep. Wow, no, he wants. He's saying he wants to keep this club afloat now, or he's trying to keep this club afloat. But if fans were in the stadium, obviously he'd get booed every game. Would he be put under more pressure? Yes, he would be. But I think what he said after the Gillingham game would have happened a lot longer before.
Well, that was my next question. Do you think he would have resigned by now?
Oh, he would have resigned by now.
Oh,
'cause
he would have.
if he was having those feels after the Gillingham game, fuck knows what he must have thought after a few games before, because we were on a massive losing streak between February and the early March.
Oh,
So absolutely, he would have felt the pressure then, and then I reckon he would have resigned, and he wouldn't even thought about it. He wouldn't have even had a thought, because he said, "Oh, there's no fans in there. You know what? I'll go have a chat with my missus. I'll have a chat with Paul Jewell, Lee Power, and all that sort of stuff." Oh yeah, go on, have a chance. Keep going. You can do it. You can do it, John. No, you can't fucking do it. You came from Chesterfield. You came from Chesterfield, who you were going to get fucking relegated to.
I told you this will turn into
Still
Arsenal fan
Wigan.
TV.
Jesus, the mouth on
we
him.
need a tie. Use our tie.
And sorry, Rich, just to give you your chance there. Any additional comments you wanted to make about what you're hoping to see against Peterborough?
I mean, he needs to adapt. He needs to adapt, like he did at Fleetwood. He adapted, okay, and we won the game. And he's got to do that. I know you've got to keep the same team because at least you've got the chemistry and the connections within the team. But you need to adapt to the teams that you're playing against. And Peterborough are a very attacking team, and we are going to be under the cosh early on. Even if we do go for the game, they're going to be very much in the possession. They're not in top of the league for no reason. So we need to adapt and change formation and change the style of play that we want to play. As a few of you said today, is like we did play some good football in that second half. We were passing the ball around. A player that I felt that I know he scored the great goal today, but I thought Jack Payne had his best game in a Swindon shirt today. Personally, I thought he was all over the midfield. He was passing the ball around, and he needs to bring that again on Saturday. And so do the rest of the team, and that includes John Sheridan. Having to change the team and adapting to the way that we can possibly sort of grind a result out of Peterborough.
Christian, I believe you're the last one to offer up the opportunity to say what you want ahead of the Peterborough game.
I mean, come on. You couldn't back John Sheridan to beat out a wank at the moment, to be honest with you. I've written this one off. I think we're a better team away from home. If we were playing at Peterborough, we might sneak something. We're playing at home. We'll go one down within 15 minutes. It'll be shit. It'll be boring. Pip want to be stood up front like the fat kid in PE trying to fucking play football. We're going to lose 4-1.
Get one.
And I can't be more
You think we're
positive.
going to score?
Get one. We got
Today
one.
was yeah, Thompson's going to score our goal. Nathan Thompson is going to score our goal.
Out
I
pity.
get all this crap
Taking off his shirt and having my little STFC vest underneath.
Nathan Thompson is a red. He's Swindon Town. Don't worry about that.
He'll
So
stick
don't worry
out.
about
He'll
his
get one of his
best
Thompson
game or-
penalties away.
He's got nothing to prove. He loves Swindon Town.
Did you
But,
see Rich's face when he thought it was going to be Dominic Thompson that he was going to score?
Now, it'll be an own goal from Nathan Thompson. 4-1 loss.
And he scored 4 in goals.
That'd be Dominic Thompson scoring
Just
4
when,
own
when,
goals.
when you're on FIFA and you're losing 4-0, so you just change to the other team, just scoring goals.
If I can offer it up now on a wider subject, you know, we are at the business end. There's 7 games left of the season, I believe now. As it stands, we are above the dotted line on goals scored. I think it is. It's not even goal difference anymore. To say, you know, squeaky bum time would be an understatement. So I'm going to ask you all again, do you believe we can stay up as we sit here now? But we've alluded to, obviously, we had a couple of weeks ago Sheridan suggesting he might resign. He didn't. We did pick up a couple of results. They're now gone out the window because we've lost both games over the bank holiday weekend. So my supplementary question to you all, when I ask you, can we stay up, is it now too late to change the manager and get that bounce? Would it make no difference regardless now? Again, I will go as you appear on the list, so it moves around. So Rich, you're first up this time. Can we stay up?
That's obviously the $1 million question, and my answer is I really don't know. Friday, at the start of Friday, I thought, yeah, we can do. Even if we lost, which we did lose on Friday, I thought, well, Monday, make a game, both teams would be going for it. I thought, oh, we might be able to sneak a result. And now we're back to sort of square one again. So my answer is I really don't know. It could go any way. It could go either way. We'll probably, if we do stay up, we'll only stay up by a point or 2. It will definitely come down to the final day now. Now that we've lost that game, if we, as I say, if we can pick up some surprise results, which judging by today, I just can't see it. But he's done it in the past, so I don't see why not. But I just don't know at the moment.
If we had someone else, if we found out tonight, by the time we finish recording this, Sheridan had gone and anybody else come in, would you be any more confident of staying up?
I'll be going downstairs and getting the fucking beers and going to the county ground and having a party.
Having a party, yeah. Staying up party.
Yeah, I'd be buzzing. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, you would think by the time a new manager came in, he had a few days to work with the players, depending who that manager is, of course, that he would have a honeymoon period right up to the end of the season and could possibly keep us up. But it can't be just any old manager. It'll have to be somebody, but it won't happen though. So I think we are stuck with Sheridan for the rest of the season now.
Adam, I'll offer up the same 2 questions to you next, but also for consideration, how many points do you think we need out of those 7 games to stay up? Because let's face it, nobody in that bottom, what are we saying, bottom 6, nobody is going to win every game. And we are all going to lose more than we win or draw, most likely. So how many points do you think we need?
Well, we need a minimum of 9, and those 9 need to come against those 3 that we're playing down against us. It doesn't matter if we beat Peterborough and we beat Portsmouth, but then Bristol Rovers go on and do 2 shock results as well, that rules it out. So it's, okay. I think realistically, we're talking at least, I mean, I don't think the 50-point rule is going to be a case this season.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we can reach 50 points, but I think out of 21, we need double figures. And we have to get 9 points off those 3 teams. We have to beat those teams down with us. I can't see it going any other way. I actually think that, Rochdale, I think they're bottom of the league, but they're not out of it. They've got a better goal difference than everybody down there, so they obviously have got a little bit about them defensively.
I believe Rochdale are only 4 points behind us.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's now 2 questions, isn't it? Like, it's not just a case of how many points we need; it's who we need them from. It's like I say, it's no good beating. We needed the points today. It's no point beating Peterborough and Portsmouth if you can't beat Wimbledon, Burton, MK, and it's pointless because they could be picking up points the same way that we are. So yeah, I'd comfortably say if we got 12 points out of the remaining 21, then we would stay up. Will we get those 12 points? That's 4 wins. Who knows? Is it too late to change a manager? Quite a controversial opinion from me, because I know we've discussed in the past. I actually don't think it's ever too late to change a manager. It's never too late to change a lineup, and it's never too late to change a manager. So, until it's mathematically impossible, because then it would just be pointless changing the manager. But we would need an opposite figure to Sheridan, and I don't think there's many of those around at the moment. I mean, Sheridan is, I think, was it the Bristol Rovers game that they overheard somebody saying that he played for Sheridan, and he was saying that Sheridan's very much a fear manager. He puts a fear into his players and all of this kind of stuff, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. That's how Alf Ramsey won the World Cup. But we need with this team of players, we almost need that kind of, probably someone who's a bit closer to the players, who's also maybe been through the situation before as a player, not as a manager, and to bring them straight back up again. But the question is who's around that can do that for us. The experts of saving from relegation, Tony Pulis taken, Harry Redknapp taken, all the experts from saving from relegation are all retired or taken.
Warnock.
Yeah, I'd love it. But then Warnock.
He's got a job.
I know. He's a player. I know.
But I also think this group of players wouldn't react to Warnock. I just think that it just end up upsetting everybody, and then they'll end up crying on the pitch. But So and then what was the other question apart from changing the manager? That was it, wasn't it?
Just, do you believe, as we sit here now, we will stay up?
Until it's mathematically possible, I will always believe. That's just the way I've always been. I think until it's mathematically impossible, I just don't want it to go to May. And we're cutting down games. I want us to go to Ipswich or be at home to Ipswich and Wigan with it pretty much already be in the bag that we're safe, because it just looks more unlikely if we don't do that. But I think we've still got it to stay up, but something needs to change. He can't even say, I'm not changing the lineup now. They said, what is it, 3-5-2 or whatever, 3-4-1, whatever. They were when they were playing that, and he didn't want to change the squad from Fleetwood. He only changed one player for the Blackpool game, I think it was. He's not exactly changed the whole squad and changed the whole system. So we can't say we found a winning way of playing. He's got to change something that's going to win us out that game. And we need to take those Peterborough and Portsmouth games as free games, free shots. But I think we need to focus more. We need to take that attitude all the way through the next 5 games, especially. Just bloody go at every single team. The only way you can score goals is by attacking, or Nathan Thompson scoring an own goal. So let's just bloody attack them. At least then, as Warren said last week, if we go down, we can still say, as much as it will be painful and we'll be in League 2 next season, at least we can say, well, at least we gave it a bloody good go, as opposed to sitting there and saying, well, we just let everybody walk all over us. And that's all I want, really. Because I've resigned to the fact that we're not very good now. But I think if we stay up, hopefully this ownership thing can get out of the way and get all of that sorted. We might be able to even get a better manager next season. And then we can focus on next season.
Warren, obviously, I'll ask you as well whether you think we will stay up as we sit here now. But on the subject, as Adam was saying there, in the very, very, very unlikely event that we do make a change now for one reason or another, It has to be a certain type of character, because just before you joined us, a few weeks ago, we were discussing manager possibilities and who there was. And one of the names that cropped up, it wasn't immensely popular in the group, but one of the names that cropped up was Joey Barton. And we've seen what's happened. I know there's different situations at every club, obviously, and just because what's happening there wouldn't necessarily happen here, but it's not exactly gone swimmingly well for him since he took over, has it?
No, but you listen to Joey Barton's interviews all the time, and he's on about at the moment, this is a rebuilding job at this club. This is, even if we go down, I haven't had chance. The excuses are already there for Barton. He's already going, oh, I haven't had chance to bring in my own players. I haven't had this, I haven't had that. And the excuses are already there. Like I said on Friday, I don't think we're going to need as many points as you think to stay up in this league. And I know it was a bit of what I said on Friday was also that I think there are teams, 4 teams worse than us, and I think they are the teams below us in the league at the moment. I honestly do. And I cannot see if we beat the games around us are the massive games, like Adam said. You can all go and beat Peterborough if we go and do that and beat Portsmouth, but it's 6 points. It's a 6-pointer when you beat Rochdale and you beat Wimbledon. And that is how I see it. And those are the massive, massive games that we've got to win. And there's no doubt about it that I personally think, I think Burton are cheering today being on 45 points. And they were saying today that they see them out of trouble, and they're sat on 45 points. So we're 8 points off of that. So, and I know they've still got games to play, obviously, so they're not just going to stay there. But they feel like they're done. They feel like they're safe now. They feel like today's win has got them there. So I think that's got to be where you're looking. 45 points. So we're 8 points off that. The key games, like we say, are the Rochdale, the Wimbledons, the Wigans. And if we can pinch points from, there's going to be games where we play like the likes of MK Dons later in the season that are going to have, it's going to be a nothing game for them. They're going to be sat mid-table. They're not going to be pushing any higher. They're not going to be in the relegation battle. They could be already on holiday, already on a break in their head. And those could be the games where you think, oh, maybe we wouldn't get anything from them looking at the table, but they could be the games where we do pick something up because we've got more to play for. And I've always been quite optimistic all through the season, and shoot me down if we do go down, obviously. But I think as a fan, I think we've only got to be positive. I think that's the only way we can try and be. And I've still got it in us that I think we will do it.
Ben, are you equally, I don't know if optimistic is the right word, but are you trying to remain as positively minded as you can?
I think, as it is, to answer your question about the manager, I think right now it's written that last game of the season, Wigan, after being in administration pretty much all the season, being in the bottom 4 all the season, being who their former manager is, being who we are, and football being football, the last day needs something to all beat us to do it, and do it last day and send us down and they stay up. I just think it's heading towards that sort of climax end of the season where they've had that sort of that sort of season that is written for them, and because they've got new ownership now and it's a whole new era. That's my worry. Would change manager now help things? It would lift the mood of the players. I think players like Dominic Thompson, as we've been talking about, I think will become a new player. I think the shackles will come off him. I think we'll just be like the rebirth of him. I think we will see the best out of players like Jack Payne. Our creative players would come out of themselves. I think we might see some players become uninjured. I think Conroy might come back to his old Conroy. I think Broadbent might come back a little bit sharper. Yeah. And I could see, I don't even think we need a sort of tried and tested, experienced manager. I think someone with Lee Peacock can build a team spirit and morale and us versus the world, even just for short term. Someone who just goes, right, lads, just let's have this, let's do it, and has that little bit about him. and that leadership with him, that would give us a fair shout of doing it. A fair shout of doing it. Because I think our players are all right.
Realistic though, Ben.
I don't. It gives us a better chance than if we stay with Sheridan. I don't think Lee Peacock will take over. I think Sheridan will stay, and I think we'll go down. But that's what I think right now. I think I'd love to be wrong, but that's currently my mood at the moment. If we get a point at Peterborough and we turn Rochdale over, then I'll be all different because I'm fickle like that. But I think I might be living in a little dream world. But I think a change of manager and fresh blood and a fresh spirit and shackles being lifted off players. And I just don't think they're enjoying football. I don't think they're enjoying playing for Sheridan. I don't think I don't think they're playing with a smile. I think I just think it's a slog at the moment.
I agree with you.
Season.
I agree with you, but I also think that you named all those players there, Conroy and Broadbent and all that. I mean, they've all had major injury issues. I'm not saying that as an excuse because they should be coming back, but I mean, Conroy, he's had very little football, and as I said, I don't usually agree with Sheridan. Like I said on Friday, though, it was evident in the last few games that Conroy just wasn't up to it. And if that is down to Sheridan's management, then fair enough. But I do think the fact that he was absent from football for such a long time, such a long period, is starting to sort of creep into his game a little bit. And I don't think a new manager coming in is going to spark a fire that quickly and at this point of the season. As much as we want him to come back and we want him to be the old Conroy, I just don't feel as if that a new manager, especially Lee Peacock, coming in is going to spark or change anything like that.
Okay, Rich, but let me ask you then, with what you know of what Conroy is capable of, would you say if a new manager, whether it's Peacock, whether it's someone else, if they came in and offered that sort of that buzz, that lifting mood, that everything, would a Conroy playing every other game between now and the end of the season be better than him not being there at all?
Regarding Conroy?
Yes, Conroy.
But the thing is, though, with the defense, you can't keep chopping and changing, and I don't think that would be fair on Conroy. I think Conroy really needs to sort of. Do you know what? I think what he's done with Conroy actually is probably quite smart because, as I say, he has come back from injury, and he needs a full preseason. He didn't have a full preseason, or he had a partial preseason when he came back. And even then, from September to December, he didn't play any games. So I just don't think it's been fair on Conroy at all. And I feel as if when he has come back into the team, it's been more desperate than it has actually been, oh, you're a cracking player, we need you back in, and you're going to help us get out of this hole that we're in. I just think we were desperate for him to come back and for him to save us today. And unfortunately, I don't. It's never going to happen.
Can anyone see why Conroy is skipper when he played? Because I've never seen nothing for me that
he was
stand out as a skipper for me.
He was club captain under Wellens, and there's no reason, I don't think, as to why he was.
Yeah.
There's no reason as to why he was given it, but he was club captain. So I think Sheridan just did.
Yeah, I just do not see him as a leader at all. And don't get me wrong, I don't think he's a bad defender on his day when he's fit. But for me, I just can't see how that guy is our club captain. I really honestly can't. Unless he does something miraculous with the players behind the scenes. When we go on a pitch.
Confidence is a thing with Conroy, I think. I don't know, maybe he's showing signs of confidence on the pitch and leadership on the pitch before. I mean, it's been obviously very hard to tell over the last 2 years or so because he has had very minimal games due to injury. but maybe they saw something in him that came across the fact that he is a leader. Maybe he does show positive vibes when he's on. That's the only thing possibly I could think that's why he's been given the captaincy. But I do think it is time that things are reevaluated in the summer. I think he could still be in our squad if he proves himself in preseason, but he'd need a new contract to do that. It's tough at the moment, but I think a full reevaluation of the squad needs to happen in the summer. But obviously we don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, I guess.
I don't think we ever really know what strengths or attributes somebody brings to the role as a captain. Even going back to Colin Caldwell, we didn't know a lot about him or what he did behind the scenes and that kind of thing. And it's the same with Conroy. You know, you look at Bolton Wanderers this season, their captain is Owen Doyle. Would you have really thought last year Doyle should be our captain?
Yeah, I totally. That was the point.
You don't know, do you? You don't know what goes on behind the scenes.
I think sometimes it's the professionalism as well, in terms of what a player is like off the pitch. What do they look? Because you can guarantee that Owen Doyle probably looks after himself, trains well, and I wouldn't put that past, you know, having without name dropping, having spoken quite in length with Dion Conroy's dad. I wouldn't be surprised that if he is very, very professional off the pitch, you don't see him tweeting, you know, snide comments or anything like that. It's probably more the professionalism as opposed to being a voice in the changing room.
I was going to say, I think that's come from where he's come from as well, because obviously he was Chelsea Academy as well, wasn't he? So I think obviously he's had that growing up, coming through their academy and everything like that. So as you say, Woody, I think that's definitely probably that sign.
The case in point for that comment there, Adam, would be someone like James Milner. You know, he's generally, when the substitution happens at Liverpool, he's generally the one given the armband. He's not the club captain, but he's the obvious choice, because whether, you know, we've heard about it for years, how he trains, how he performs on the pitch. You know, for a guy, even now, even again this season, for a guy of his age, not saying that age is a major factor, but for a guy with age, he's still able, if needed, to go and play left back. He's always been a right-footed midfielder, but he will play left back and he will still give you a solid 7, 8 out of 10 every single time. You know, he's still, you know, you can only believe what you're told, what you hear, what you read. He still wins all of the running tests at Liverpool. He still wins all the distance. He still does all these things off the pitch. And that's the sort of professionalism you're talking about.
Steve, I can quantify that from the time he was at Swindon, because back then the players used to stay at the Madison Hotel that was by Lower Stratton, and I was the food and beverage manager there, and James Milner was stayed there while he was on loan. And the lad, you know, he didn't drink, he was totally teetotal, totally level-headed, lovely family, lovely parents, and all he wanted to do was win at football. That was his goal. You know, he wanted the career, he wanted everything, and he was driven. Fantastic. So, point proven, he is a great captain, like you're saying, for Liverpool when he comes on.
Well, keeping you in, Christian, it's your turn to throw it over to you about, do you believe, as we talk here tonight, that we can stay up?
The league table tonight, it doesn't look too bad, does it? We're not in the bottom four. We will be. We will be on Saturday. Peterborough will beat us. If I'm wrong, I will give every single person on this chat tonight a tenner. There is no way we are winning on Saturday. So let's see what the league table looks like then. There aren't 4 teams worse than us. Sorry, there might be 1 or 2. There aren't 4. Something amazing has got to happen. It's not going to happen Saturday. I don't think we're going to stay up now, unfortunately. I think today was our massive chance at Burton to show what we can do. We know we're a better team away from home than what we are at home. We didn't do it today. We didn't change the formation. We didn't go at them. We didn't attack them. It's not looking good, is it? And it's almost like we're just going through the motions now. I hope I'm wrong, but no. we're not staying up, and I don't think if it goes to the last game of the season, Sheridan is not that sort of manager against his old side Wigan. It's because, come on, boys, let's fucking do this and beat. Nah, he'll let them go and do their own thing, and then at the end of the game, say, well, I told him to mark the number 10. I told him to fuck off, mate. Piss off. We're not going to change it. We're not going to change the manager either. We're stuck with him. Let him fall on his sword. He's a dickhead. Retire in the summer. Ta-da, mate.
Last but certainly not least, Kieran, I'll throw it over to you about the chances of us staying up. But in addition, obviously, a lot of the conversation over the last, 15, 20 minutes has been regarding changes of manager, possible changes of manager, etc. I know what I'm about to say won't happen, but to slightly go over old ground, if Wellens was still here, would we be in this situation?
If Wellens was still here, I don't think we'd be in this situation now, because I think he's a better manager coach, along with Noel Hunt, who I think is one of the biggest losses we've had this season, was Noel Hunt going. And I can see why Noel Hunt went. No one could at the time. Everyone thinks it's down to him possibly being off, thinking he was going to get off the job. Maybe that was it. But him and Sheridan couldn't have fucking worked together. But Noel Hunt, with the coaching team he had last year, Wellens, Noel Hunt and Steve Mildenhall, you saw them out there every game, barking instructions at the lads. They were a coaching team. They brought that team together. And they were supportive of the team, and they were doing it. And I think if we kept those three together with Wellens as the guy heading it up, I think we'd been in a lot better position. I don't think we'd be much higher up. I don't know if we'd be mid-table. Maybe we'd be a bit of a scrap. Maybe looking like we could go down for a bit sooner. Go down a bit lower still. But I don't think we'd have been in as bad a situation with Wellens as we were. I think as well, if he had Dominic Thompson when he was still in and players like that, he would have got the best out of him. He'd have got them attacking. So I think most other managers other than John Sheridan would have got more out of this squad and would have been in a better position. I think Wellens was a big loss, and then with Noel Hunt going, and maybe in hindsight we should have maybe gave him the management job. But
I think that's the key point there, Kieran. I don't think Wellens would have done it on his own. I think Wellens
100%.
Wellens and Hunt would have been the duo.
Wellens was needed that team behind him. I think it proved that when he went to Salford, he didn't do particularly well. Again, the Wellens philosophy doesn't go in overnight. The way he wants to play, it was a long build with us. We weren't in a great position. We were sort of probably slightly worse off than Salford, but we looked like we could still make a playoff or something. We would have done if we'd had him for another three months in that season. We could have made the playoffs, but his philosophy doesn't go in overnight. Salford didn't give him enough time, but also he did. The big loss for him was sort of Noel Hunt was helping him out a lot of Swindon. Paul Jewell upstairs, he worked well with him, and Mildenhall as well. You added into those mix, they were very much a coaching team. Wellens was the manager, was the head coach, but I think all of those together worked very well together. I think as well, what's different this year is John Sheridan's show along with Tommy Wright, and Tommy Wright even was in that mix, and he worked well with them. The players seem to be doing well with them, but I think those two together don't work well and don't do enough for the players. And obviously even Mildenhall now just doesn't, he's sat back a lot more. He'd be barking out instructions to various players and the goalkeepers. Last season he was a lot more involved, so I think Sheridan coming in, and he maybe tries to take too much on his own and not letting his other coaches have an influence. But I think, if we had the same coaching team as last year, it was kept sort of the Hunts and the Mildenhalls, we've still got Mildenhall, but kept Hunt and Wellens, I think we'd be in a lot better position. Do I think we can stay up? I think it's going to be close, and it goes down to Wigan. It goes down to the Wigan game, whether what we need, or I think it's still in our hands just about if we can sort of get results against Rochdale, Wimbledon, and then obviously Wigan. But we need to pick up some other points elsewhere. Where they come from, I don't know. Say it could be a freak result against Peterborough, Portsmouth, but we need to beat the teams that are around us more. But I think other teams could keep us up. I think Northampton, Bristol Rovers, that result on Saturday will have a big impact on how we look at this season. If either of those teams wins, it's no desirable result there. I think a draw is the best one. I think possibly Rovers winning or Northampton. Well, yeah, possibly Rovers winning would be a better option, but the Northampton then again would have still played a game more. There's no good result in that game. But I think I think the teams below us are worse. I don't think we're the worst of the teams down there. I think the teams below us and Northampton above us are slightly worse than us, but possibly a better management. So I think we may do it, but I think it could literally be on like goal difference or goals scored, and it goes down to the final game for me, and it's it's going to be. Just as Ben said, I think Wigan could do something against us, and it'll be that fairy tale story for them.
I definitely think it's fair to say it's going to be close. It's going to be tight. It's going to be nervy, and it's not going to be an enjoyable few weeks. And I definitely believe, although we have the obvious crucial games, as a few of you have mentioned, the overriding point is we can't base the remainder of our season on winning those, say, 3 games. It is definitely look at the others, and even, you're right, even if we can get a point at Peterborough, just something like that, just alongside potentially winning those crucial games, it will be that point against Peterborough that suddenly becomes a critical point that we've earned. So for me, as much as those sort of 3 games that you guys have mentioned are obviously critical, I don't think we can base our whole plan for survival on winning those games, because you can't guarantee winning those, because as crucial as they are for us, they're equally
they're the same for them, yeah. And I think we need to pick up a couple of bonus points. But I think taking points off all of those sides is crucial. Taking points off of the 3 sides around us is crucial. Mate, I don't think we'll win all of them. I can see us lose, like the Wimbledon game, and see or Rochdale certainly being a really tricky game for us. But I think as well we do need to pick up points off of the teams coming, sort of Europe switches, Peterboroughs and Portsmouths, because they're the bonus points. Like Northampton got bonus points against Oxford a couple of weeks ago after we lost to them, which again that would have been bonus points as well. So I think we can't base it off those 3 games. We definitely need to get a couple more points out of those other ones to try and have any fighting chance.
As always, gents, I appreciate your time, and in advance of which, thank you to anyone who chooses to watch this. I know that there's other great reaction and response gone out. I know LS Pod have put theirs out tonight. I know the Supporters Club, the good one on Facebook with Vic Morgan, that's gone out tonight as well. So lots of great content out there for fans to enjoy. So if you have opted to watch ours, thank you very much. Again, you're always welcome to join us. The next time I think we're planning to record will be an on the whistle for did we say Portsmouth game, Adam, is the next one for us?
The 20th of April, is it?
Yeah. So until then, thank you very much, and we will see you all then. But no, thank you guys, and goodbye.
Cheers.
Cheers,